This arm, when you hold it, you're gonna put it here in a comfortable spot and just let it fall comfortably over the sound hole. Okay, not too high up, not too far low, just at a comfortable spot. This hand, okay, you wanna make sure that you don't work with a bent wrist. You wanna make sure that when you go like this, you can make a fist, that's comfortable. But if you go like this and you try to make a fist, it's quite difficult because it's gonna pull on your tendons, okay? So the idea is putting your palm here and playing on the fingertips, okay? And then the thumb is gonna be somewhere behind the index and the middle finger, kind of following. So as you go up and down, it's not so much my fingers, but my arm is coming up and down, okay? So I'm keeping my fingers back, and it takes a level of awareness to kind of keep my eye on this, right? So I don't want to let that go. Another thing, if my thumb comes up here, that means that my fingers are slacking back, okay? Because if my thumb's here, there's no way I can be way up here too. You know, not at first, because your hand doesn't quite know where to go. All right, so that's number one. All right, so remember string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So the very first exercise I give, it's super simple. It's a chromatic scale. All that is, chromatic just means half steps. So real quick side note, half steps, whole steps. Half step is a semitone, whole step is a whole tone. I use half steps and whole steps. So a half step is nothing more than one fret next to each other. This is a half step from here to here, here to here, here to here, anywhere in the guitar. So if I was on an open string, a half step would be from open to fret 1. Okay? Whole step, all it is you're skipping a fret. You're just jumping over one. Okay? If I was in an open string, a whole step would be the second fret. Okay, just to be clear. So a chromatic scale would be nothing more than half steps all the way down. So remember, if you put your hand like this is finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, finger 4. Okay? 4 right now, we want to keep one finger per fret. You don't want to shift. You want to get every finger involved. And what you want to go for is quality and accuracy, not speed. The brain does not understand speed. It only understands what are you trying to do. And if you don't know what to do, and you try to put speed to it, it's going to be a disaster, right? So you must go, that's what my most difficult challenge is, getting my students to go slow, okay?
That's what I tell my students too.
Okay, all right, so again, we're trying to get the body to do physically what the brain understands intellectually. So what you want to do, being aware of your wrist, your thumb, fingertips, okay? And looking at both hands. For right now, on your right hand, you're only going to pick down, okay? Don't worry about alternate picking, down and up, just pick down. That's one less thing you got to think about at first, because there's a lot going on. So you're just going to pick down, and all you're going to do is this. You're going to go 1, oh, sorry, real quick. When you put your finger on the fret, you want to put it, you don't want to put it on the fret or way over here. You want to put it as close to it as you can without being on it, okay? So on your fingertips, what you're going to do is very slowly, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And you're going to do that with every string all the way down and so on. When you get to the bottom, right, you can go right back up 4, 3, 2, 1, or you can slide over and come back up and keep walking the guitar down, up, slide, or you can just go down, up, whichever one you prefer. It doesn't really matter, but you can walk the guitar, so you can slide over and just 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Till you get to the top, slide. Again, this is just a warm-up, going really slow to strengthen your fingers and create finger independence.
Okay.
Nothing more than that. It's just an exercise, okay? So why don't you give it a shot real quick? Remember, try to keep your fingers, you don't want to be way over here, because then you got to bring your finger way over back. Try to keep your fingers nearby to kind of like start training them. Okay, this is what I want you to do.
Oh, you're skipping.
No. You're going chromatic. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going through every fret. One finger per fret. So pinky should get 4th fret. 2, 3, and then pinky gets 4. Good. And then you go to the next string and do the same all the way down. So now, nope, you start back at 1. Yep. Good. Be aware where your finger lands before you play it. Good. 3. That's a little bit too close to on the fret. Yeah, you want to be just before it, not on it. Okay. Good. You should be going slow enough. Another thing, when you go slow, you have more time to register and think about what your next move is. Make sure your thumb is behind the index, middle.
Behind the index.
Yeah, so you want it back here. You don't want it up here. You want it back here because this is going to give you support.
Yeah.
Make sure your wrist is not, you can have a slight bend, but you don't want
So
that.
you want your wrist to be flat?
You could have a slight bend. What we don't want is this.
You don't.
You don't want a full bend because that's going to make it weak. So a slight bend's okay. There's going to be a slight bend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we on the 3rd string?
That's the 4th.
1, 2, 3.
How about 6 by 4? Remember, you would count. The bottom one would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Okay. Let's go all the way to the bottom. Let's just make sure we got
Oh, it's
this.
the bottom?
Yo, yeah. Let's go through each string. So you're here, 3rd string.
3rd string?
Yeah. So here.
There?
One more. There you go.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that's what's gonna get me.
But it's going slow. Good.
You see how my fingers are all like
Because they don't know what to do yet.
They're very connected.
Yeah.
So that disconnect will happen? Because
Yes.
Can you do it again?
So basically,
Yeah, your fingers are almost over exactly. They stay over. They
over.
don't stay like this. And
Exactly.
then you're like, eh.
So again, your fingers right now have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
This is where habituation, repetition.
So you're saying if I just go through, bam, bam,
Slowly.
eventually they will.
Well, with time, that is an exercise. This is like the first exercise I give. This is just a chromatic scale, and there's different variations to that scale as well.
You see how my fingers?
Yeah.
So is it bad that my fingers are like?
No.
Is it okay?
They're just untrained.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's if you put me a beginner in the drum set, you're gonna be waiting,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be like,
Coordination's gonna
I can't get my
this one
separation.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
I feel it.
So again, when you just use that as a reference, you gotta start slow and kind of tell the body, look, this is what I want you to do. But that only happens if you go slow and you're aware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
When people want to go fast, and when you go too fast, you can't see mistakes, and then you don't know what you're doing wrong, and then it sounds sloppy.
So because I'm looking down, is this probably the guitar should stay like this? Is that right? Or does it
You can
matter?
have a slight angle. What you don't want is like this,
Yeah, you're straight up looking.
because then
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah.
So you kind of, it doesn't have to be like up and down like that, but it can be like at a small angle, you know, that's comfortable, but yeah, not to an extreme. Just keep it very slightly angled, okay? And then when you get to the bottom, then, like I said, you can shift, or you can I would just go up and down in one position. You don't have to slide all the way across. You can just go up and down here, then maybe pick another part of the guitar, go up and down. Same thing, now when you go back up, now you're doing the reverse. 3, see? But I'm going so slow, I'm focusing on where I want my fingers to go. And this is just training. This is just years of playing and repetition.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see your hands you put your hands in there automatically just right over the correct fret.
I bet you that happens when you play drums, right? Your hand goes to the drum you want it, right? Right.
That's pretty amazing though.
It is pretty amazing, you know, but it's just, you can do it. If I was to train on drums, I could probably do what you do with a few years, or however many years it took.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
You play this, and in a few years you'll be here.
Yeah.
So it just depends on, you know, the question you gotta ask yourself is, you know, where do I see myself as a guitarist? You know, how far do I want to take this? So, all right. So that's the beginning exercise. Let me see the very next thing.
So when you say fingertips, you're literally talking like your fingertips, not this.
So you don't want to play on the pad of your fingers. You want to play on the fingertips. Okay, reason for that, because if you play on your pad, let's say I'm doing a chord, just for example, and I can block that string if I'm not on my fingertips. But if I'm on my fingertips, I'm not going to have any, you want to make sure every straight sound. So that's what that is for, especially when we get to chords. So this is something I want to correct before it even is a mistake, you know what I mean? Like kind of like prevent that from happening. If your fingers are straight, you're not going to be as strong, you're not going to be as efficient, especially when you start doing scales and stuff like that. If you're in your pads, now by being in your pads, you're forcing the wrist to bend a little bit more. But I say put your hand on your guitar, bend your fingers and kind of move your arm up and down, as opposed to having your fingers straight and doing that shift, okay? So again, it takes a great level of awareness, and that's why I say go slow and start with this foundation and then build on it.
That's cool. Yeah. Okay. That's
like what you should do every day to warm up.
Yeah.
The very next thing I want to show you, so it's not like an overload of information, is going to be the natural notes on the first 3 frets, the open position. If you know your notes on the first 3 frets, then next time I see you, there's going to be a formula so you can know where every note is.
Nice.
So you need to know the notes. Obviously your open strings for tuning, and then the natural notes. I call them natural notes. When I say natural notes, I mean no sharps and no flats. Okay. So just all natural.
You're not talking about like open or muted or
no.
So it's ringing naturally.
No. Ringing, yeah, but all I mean by natural is no sharps or flats. Okay. That's the only thing I mean by natural. Okay. There's no accidentals. Okay. So, and it's in the open position. So, I'm gonna play it one time so you know what I'm talking about, and then I'm gonna put it on paper and kind of have you look at it, okay? So basically, when I write it on paper, I'm gonna write the fingering for it, and then I'm gonna write the notes, and they're gonna be the same thing. The fingering and the notes are gonna be exactly the same. Okay. So if you put the numbers over the notes or the notes over the numbers, it's the same thing. The reason I separate it is so you know what fingers to use and what the notes are for those fingerings. Instead of just writing the notes, you know what I mean? I give you 2 perspectives of it so you can see it both ways. Okay. Which is a little bit easier because it's more visual. It's for application. So basically this is what I'm talking about. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's awesome. Alright, so going back to the musical alphabet. Yeah. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. After G comes A again. If you were to start on C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. If you were to start on E, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. It just loops. So, going back to that pattern I'm going to write for you, if you know what the pattern is, and all you knew was this was E, follow the pattern and follow the alphabet, you're going to know where every note is.
Yeah. Just based on knowing in those 3 frets. Exactly,
just based on that pattern. But you still, I advise you to know what the notes are, not just depend on that. But there is a formula, all you got to do is follow the alphabet. So if this is E, and you know my pattern is open, 1, 3, open, 2, 3, open, 2, 3, so on. I know that's my pattern. Well, that's E, okay? So what's after E in the alphabet? F, and that's my pattern. Then it's 3, and that's gotta be G, okay? My next note after, that's gotta be A, that's gotta be B, C, and it just keeps going, and it loops. The thing about the the guitar is, like for example, piano players or trumpet players, they look in terms of reading music and notes. We do that also, but the cool thing about the guitar is that it's a lot of patterns and sequences in the pattern repeats every so many frets, which we'll discuss at a later time because it wouldn't make sense right now without having that basis. And for example, I could take this C, bring it here and bring it here. You have the same pitch from here all the way over here. The exact same pitch, not even octaves. Because you have this C here, you go 1 string up, so many frets, 1 string up, so many frets, 1 string up, so many frets, and it's the same sound. So it's knowing I can get this sound way over here. So it just kind of, there's patterns. Yeah. Every 5 frets, it kind of just, something, loops again. So basically, I'm gonna write that down for you, and this is going to be a good start for you. So you know what this is, fretboard?
Yeah, drawing up the 6 strings.
Yes.
That's the first fret. Which fret?
So
we're talking about the first 3. Like
this is the first 3 frets.
Yeah.
I believe very strongly in this method because there's a lot of teachers out there, like I said, that I wouldn't be a good teacher. Let me just put it this way: if I skipped over all this. It's very important to focus on this concrete foundation. If you skip over this and try to build a house with windows first or the roof first, it's going to collapse.
Yeah.
Or, I'm not saying you won't get good, you will, but you're going to plateau.
Yeah, you're going to have to go back.
And then you're not going to have that foundation to support you moving forward. So then you're going to have to learn this anyway or whatever. You know, there's so many little factors, and I like to cover each one, you know, in detail. Because why not?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know. So for you, this is going to be the 6th string, 5th, 4th. Okay. If you practice this every day, watch. 1, 3, 2, 3. O means open. Does this make sense when you look at it? So if I took these notes and put them over here, or did the vice versa, it's the exact same thing. So that's open string, open, finger 1 on fret 1, finger 3 on fret 3 is what that means. So that O13 would be E, F, G. O23 is A, B, C. O23 is D, E, F. O2, G, A. O13, B, C, D. O13, E, F, G. And another side note, the bottom string and the top string have the exact same notes all the way across.
Yeah.
All right, so that's an easy little shifter. Once you know this, then if you want to start reading music, then you're going to know where all the notes are at. I would just show you, look, that's B, that's that B on the staff, that's the B on the string, right? But if you know this, also, you're going to know where every note on the guitar is with another formula that I'm going to show you next week. So I'm going to play that.
Am I looking at it?
No. So
I'm looking at it like it's a guitar.
that's it. Exactly.
So then the number should be.
That's how you.
Yeah, it's kind because like this is part of the reason some of the stuff in the books. I'm like, man, like why is it always like it makes sense, but.
So I'm gonna play it again.
Yeah.
Downward and upward. Well,
Okay.
you're gonna look at it just up and down.
Okay.
Watch. I'm gonna show you how to look at it. So what I'm playing is gonna be this O 1 3. After this 3, I'm going to here open 2 3, open 2 3, open 2, open 1 3, open 1 3. Going backwards, I'm going 3 1 0, 3 1 0, 2 0, 3 2 0, 3 2 0, 3 1 0.
Those are your fingers.
The 1 is finger 1.
Yeah.
The 3 is finger 3.
Okay.
2. Now it's finger 1 on fret 1. So this is fret 1, fret 2, fret 3. The numbers are not the frets. The numbers are your fingers.
Yeah.
So I got finger 1 on fret 1, finger 3 on fret 3. So for now, since we're in the open position, your fingers are just going to be 1 for 1, 2 for 2, 3 for 3, 4 for 4. Right? Because we're in the open position. This is 1. If we